I made a video probably about 6 months ago about the obesity problem in the black community, and a lot of people in the comments weren't happy. They got on their high horse. They said it's not fair. They gave me all these excuses and all these reasons, and I was really just coming from it from a point of health, fitness, wellness. It was nothing fat phobic about it. It was actually very factual, and I came across this video from a lady. And she kind of breaks it down in the most interesting way. Now, obviously, she's in America, so it's a little bit different, but I'm going to throw in some UK and US statistics as well. So
Let me get this straight. When other races tell black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle because they're more prone to health problems, y'all tell them to stay out of black folks' business. Okay. When black men get on here and tell black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle, y'all tell them to stay out of women's business. Okay. When black women get on here to tell other black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle, y'all tell them to mind their business. Y'all say we're the least supported group in America, but when somebody gives y'all sound advice, y'all would rather hold on to 400 years of slavery rather than taking accountability for your present day actions. Okay.
All right, so to be honest, this is interesting, and I'm gonna give some statistics before I give my opinion, right? But in the UK, black ethnicity, overweight and obese equates for about 74.8%, right? And obesity only is about 35%. In the US, black adults overall, very similar actually. Obese and overweight, around 70%. Obese specifically, 42.6%. And when it comes to males in the US, 37.1%. When it comes to women, almost 60% of women, black women in the US, are obese. Obese, that is pretty crazy. And then in the UK, let me just get this up. A recent survey by Health Survey for England, HSE, they found that black Caribbean, black African, and Pakistani background women are more likely to be overweight or obese. A study found that black women were more than twice as likely to be obese compared to white women, even after controlling for other health factors. In a 2013 study, which is a little bit dated, 24% of black women had a BMI of over 30 compared to 9% of women. So that's more than double, which is pretty crazy. So before we get into the meat and bones of it, one thing to bear in mind when it comes to BMI, body mass index, that is just height and weight. So that doesn't account for body fat percentage. And when I look at the health and wellness of an individual, like me as a coach, when I was coaching people and I was assessing them, I would look at their body fat percentage. So I'd get them on a body fat scale. You can do the calipers test, loads of different things you can do. But that was my barometer rather than just putting them on a scale, because that's not always the fairest method, because there's guys that do bodybuilding who are quote unquote overweight or obese, but they're also fit, strong, lots of muscle mass. But the problem and the interesting sections of what she actually said is just more of how people react when you talk about this. And that's really what probably annoys me more than anything, is we don't ever take accountability, and we don't just like accept that it is what it is and we need to do better. We need to be more mindful of the foods that we eat as a black community. A lot of our food is drowned in oil. A lot of our food is fried. A lot of our food is heavy on the carbs and the sugar and the sweetness. We do eat a lot of heavy food. I'm a black Jamaican man, and I know the diet is very starchy. And actually, I was reading somewhere, and I don't know if this is factual, but I was reading somewhere about, so don't quote me on this, but I was reading about someone saying that essentially a lot of our diets were based on like cheap foods when we were enslaved. So all the starchy meals, they were easy to cook and they were cheap meals. So like the rice, the grains, potatoes, the porridges, like we have very heavy starchy diets, right? If you look at the West Africans, the jollof rice, the yams, obviously in Jamaica we eat yam as well, plantain, dumpling, that's made from flour, right? So a lot of this stuff is starchy, heavy, carby food. And a lot of the times during slavery, and I don't know if this is factual, I was listening to this and someone was saying this, is that those were the easy meals for the slaves to make, which is why it became a staple in our diets. And let's break down what she said, like bit by bit, right?
Let me get this straight. When other races tell black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle because they're more prone to health problems, y'all tell them to stay out of black folks' business.
Right. That's one point to make. We already know the health consequences. You've probably got an auntie, an uncle, a brother, a sister who has diabetes. We all have it somewhere, whether it's a cousin's cousin or a cousin's whatever. We all have it. So why do we always turn our noses up at stuff like, you know, getting healthy, eating better, doing those simple life things that we should be doing, right? That's a good point she makes. And then we just tell them, stay out of black people's business. It shouldn't be that way. We should be more open to hearing it. It's constructive criticism and it's not from a place of hate. I think as long as it's not from a place of hate, it's not malicious. Why are we so defensive when it comes to this kind of rhetoric and this conversation?
Okay. When black men get on here and tell black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle, y'all tell them to stay out of women's business.
Now, this is why I don't like talking about this, because as soon as, if you're a man and you talk about women, and to be honest, this video is about black people, men and women, but if you're a man who talks about women, and I gave you the statistics, if you talk about it on social media, good luck to you, my brother, because they're just going to rip you. All they do is rip you in the comments. It's fat phobic. It's not about that. It's about, well, I know that black women, they are generally at risk the most when it comes to certain health conditions. So I want to give them the best possible opportunity to stay as healthy for as long as humanly possible. And I know that looking after your health and fitness is one of the primary ways to do that. One of the most effective ways, one of the most powerful ways to do that. It's as simple as that. It's not any more complex than that. There's no maliciousness to it. Why can't we just have that conversation as adults without getting our emotions tied into it? It is what it is. And that's why I say, yeah, and it's not about men or women here. We've got to bring back bullying a little bit. Not, I know it sounds crazy, but a tiny bit. Like, I got a close friendship group, yeah? If one of the man them got fat, I would just grill him in a group chat. We're just laughing at each other. Sometimes that makes you, like, I remember those times where people make jokes about what I wear. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me start getting a bit more stylish. It's self-development. And I'm not saying bullying, like, you know what I mean? Some of you with a better sense of humor will know what I mean. We've got to bring back teasing. We've got to bring that back. All this softy, nicey is the reason why people don't level up. Let's listen to the last point she makes.
Okay. When black women get on here to tell other black women that they need to live a healthier lifestyle, y'all tell them to mind their business.
And I think that is the nail in the coffin. Even when, you know, your own gender is telling you, you still don't want to hear it. You still are super defensive. And I think the reaction is different, because I think when women tell women, there's a completely different reaction, but it's still a lot of vitriol in the response. And there's a lady, I will get her videos at some point. In fact, let me get out right now. And she makes a lot of points about, you know, women being obese and being overweight and, you know, trying to live a healthier lifestyle. And if you see her comments, oh my gosh, she gets ripped. I'm going to show you guys right now on the screen. Let me just pause this. Let's get to it.
Okay, well, how can I stop eating? I have a compulsion to eat. When you exercise more consistently, hormones naturally regulate your appetite. So it's no longer just about your willpower. It's also about your body's internal efficiency. Your body will help you to regulate that if you work out consistently. Leptin and ghrelin are hunger hormones. They help to regulate your appetite. Exercise helps to improve your appetite control. So people are telling you...
So I ain't going to go over a whole video, but you can see in the comments, to be fair, for her, she's actually got a lot of people agreeing with her. Someone said the big backs are not listening. They are specifically ignoring you when you're telling them how much less they can put in their mouths. People are crazy. But this lady, Taylor Chandler, she does a lot of videos about obesity, and
men do
kill her in the comments.
Care about the way that your body looks. You don't act like perception doesn't matter. No, it does. And men actually do care about the way that your body looks. Again, women are the only ones that'll say the face card never declines. Men don't say that because they will decline it because the body's not right. They will look over the overweight, obese women for plenty of reasons. But one of them is because, well, hey, look, I know that if she gets pregnant, she's just going to get bigger. It's not funny. If she gets pregnant, she's just going to get bigger. And if she's not already concerned about this, when she does get bigger after this baby,
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. Now look at the comments for her. I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of people supporting her. I think maybe she's built an audience, but I saw a previous video of her where she was getting ripped in the comments for pretty much having the same thing. But a lot of the comments are here are supporting her, to be fair. I told my ex her eating habits makes her a liability. I told her she can't even run 100 meters without passing out. Oh my God. Let me stop. To be fair, her comments are very positive. Everyone is supporting her. So I guess this time she is getting support. But other times I've seen her get ripped for giving this level of detail. Yeah. Anyway, guys, as a community, man, we got to work on this. We got to prioritize our health and fitness, because no one's going to come save us. They put us in the neighborhoods where we're surrounded by the fast food chains, the fried chicken shops, all that kind of stuff. And they wonder why people aren't progressing, and we're dying from obesity at an alarming rate, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it. Anyway, peace, love. Like I said, we're switching up the formats. I got the deep dives. So the deep dives are coming, and I've got obviously the reactionary content to what's happening. I want to just build up that consistency over here. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.